After 18 years in New York City, I'm leaving.
If you still live in the cesspool that is filth and sadness and broken dreams and hypodermic needles that is New York City, I highly recommend you leave 14,000 empty apartments.
Yep. Yeah.
Beautiful New York. It's time to get out of here, guys. Let's go have some fun. Telling you guys, this trip is going to be crazy. Do not miss the content. Good morning, guys, and welcome to the channel. I kind of have to keep the mask on like this because if not, I'll get fined. But more importantly, you can probably notice that my surroundings are completely different from what they usually are. And they should be, because I'm actually in Colombia right now. Been down here in Colombia for a little while. I've been having a blast. Now, for people that are new to the channel, I know I keep mentioning this, and I'm doing it because I know there's a lot of other people that might be in a similar situation, and if it helps anybody else out there, then great. My whole point is to just kind of think outside the box, not do things the traditional way anymore, because I kind of got sick of doing things the old-fashioned traditional way, the way everybody else is basically doing everything for like the past 20 years of my life. About 2-3 months ago, I basically just woke up one day, had enough with the employer that I had, basically told him what he could do with the job, quit my job. I did not get laid off or anything like that. I've never been fired or laid off or anything from any job. And I didn't leave the job because I had another job lined up. I was just like, basically, you know what? You could be a good employee and there's only so much you could take until you say, you know what, enough's enough. But the crazy part is, after I quit my job, I decided that I wasn't even gonna go look for another job. I figured I wanted to go basically find like a different solution, something better. And I always dreamed about like visiting Colombia. Always been on my bucket list. And now that I finally quit the job, this was the perfect opportunity for me to finally come to Colombia. Now, by the time you're watching this, I'm already back in New York. But for obvious reasons, I didn't want to go and announce that I was leaving the country. So anyway, how is it down here? Guys, I'm in love with this place. This place is absolutely amazing. And for people that don't know, I'm a senior Cisco network engineer. Been building out corporate networks for all these Wall Street, corporations, banks, big companies all over the city. This is literally what I've been doing for like the past 20 years of my life. And for the first time, I'm basically not doing that. Right now, I'm basically just doing YouTube full time, but I'm actually seriously considering. I mean, maybe doing YouTube full time would be great. It would actually be a dream. Now down here, I'm not sure if I would have the cars that I have in New York. I'm not sure if I would have them down here. Right now, I have only visited this one part of Colombia. Colombia's a very big country, and I would love to explore other areas of Colombia too before I decide where I'm gonna move. Now, you heard it, that's correct. I actually loved it so much down here that, like, the culture, like the way people live down here, it's completely different. And I feel like, you know when you're like playing like Nintendo back in the day, and you do like up, up, down, down, left, right, like the cheat code to get like the cool stuff in the game? I feel like moving to a place like Colombia to me is almost like a cheat code for life. Because honestly, if you have a job in the States where you're allowed to work remote, you're allowed to work from home, for example, and you can live in a place like this on a United States type of salary, I feel like you could basically live like a king down here. The cost of living over here is crazy, crazy low compared to the United States. And not just compared to the United States. I live in New York, which is probably, between New York and California, I think are like the top 2 most expensive states to live in. And you know, sometimes I look at my pay stub, I look at my paycheck, and you see how much money is being taken out in taxes and all the crazy expenses. And I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I think it was like yesterday, I woke up a little bit sick, my voice is a little bit off, basically just had a sore throat, coughing and stuff like that. It's basically like the same kind of thing that happens to me back in New York. And typically when I get sick in New York, what happens? I have medical insurance, right? Now when I have medical insurance, money gets taken out of my paycheck. I probably paid, I don't know, like $275, $300 or somewhere in that ballpark every month. On top of that, then your employer, I believe, pays the difference. But the point is you have medical insurance. But honestly, I've had a few like health events that occurred that kind of made me realize that I don't really feel like I do have health insurance. Because for example, when I get like a sore throat and I need like antibiotics or something like that, that means I gotta go to the doctor because I need to go get a prescription. So visiting the doctor with my health insurance, for example, would normally cost me $75 for the visit to the doctor's office. Then he writes me a prescription for my antibiotics. Then I go to the pharmacy and I pay another deductible of like $35, $40. And that's for something basic, very simple. So now, I got sick while I was here in Colombia, and this is all I had to do. I literally walked out of my hotel room, I went to the pharmacy. I spoke with the pharmacist, told him what was wrong, and right over the counter, he gave me antibiotics right over the counter, and I'm already feeling much better. No BS, like going to the doctor just to get a prescription, to then go to the pharmacy and then pay again. None of that stuff. Now, last year I also had like a knee surgery. I've actually, in the past couple years, I had 2 knee surgeries. And I can tell you that even with my health insurance, I ended up with thousands and thousands of dollars of medical expenses, which is insane. Now let's forget about the medical expenses for a second. If I really think about this, the previous jobs that I've had, most, like 90% of all of my coworkers hate their job. Absolutely hate it. And some jobs are, you know, better than others. That's always the case. You know, like the 2 jobs ago, that job was actually very decent compared to my last job. My last job, I was miserable. And the only reason why I was actually putting up with it for such a long time was because I had the ability to work from home. But now thanks to this whole COVID thing, I feel like there's a lot of new jobs available that allow you to work from home. And that's kind of like where this is all going. Now, the other thing is like cost of living here. Let's get into that. I've been asking a couple of locals, like, what do you pay for rent? Like, how much do you make per month? Well, there's actually a Ford Raptor just driving by over there. That's crazy. Cars like that you don't see around here that often. But I have seen some really cool cars, and I've met some really cool people from like the local car club. You're gonna be seeing all that footage. I basically covered the underground night street racing scene in Colombia. That's all coming, trust me. They got a lot of cool content. These are the hot girls. And actually, if you're watching this video right now, then that means my OnlyFans page is actually live at the moment. Link is in the description below. And yes, obviously I filmed the content down here with the beautiful women that this place has. This place has beautiful women all over the place, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's just talk about regular cost of living. And then I'm gonna grab lunch and I'll bring the camera so you can kind of check it out. But regular cost of living. Some people here tell me that their rent's like $400 a month, $500 a month. I saw one guy who actually had a really, really nice apartment in like the rich part of town, and he was paying like $1,000 a month, I think he said. Very modern looking apartment, very big. So if you don't want to be extravagant, you could easily be paying $500, $600 a month for just a, you know, like a regular apartment. And I think some of the ones that I've seen, it really depends on where you live, but I've seen people do it for like 2-3 bedrooms. So now we can actually thank COVID, because now I feel like there's probably going to be a lot more jobs that are willing to let their employees work from home. The tricky part is I need a job. If I want to go get like another Cisco engineering job, even if it's something that's like a lower position than what I'm used to. Like, I'm a senior network engineer, so I'm doing all the crazy builds and like for the big corporations and all that kind of stuff. But even if I were to find, you know, like a lower position within like the Cisco engineering, you know, type fields, where I'm kind of just doing like support or something like that, or giving someone or offering like remote support, and I could be remote 100% of the time, I'm gonna have to start looking around for something like that. But if I were to find something like that, and even if it was making a little bit less than what I was making before, that's okay, because down here it's gonna go a very, very long way. The tricky part might be trying to find one that's remote like 100% of the time. And even if it's not remote 100% of the time, maybe, let's just say you had to go into the office like 2 or 3 times a year, 4 times a year, even that's okay. But if finding a job like that with Cisco engineering, which is like my specialty, that would put me in a great position, because I'm telling you, I would come down here for a good part of the year, or the majority of the year, travel back and forth to visit friends and family, and living here, I could literally live like a king. Let's grab the camera. I'm gonna go grab some lunch. Hopefully we see some beautiful girls at, you know, I shouldn't even say hopefully. Let me get into that a little bit before we go grab lunch. Guys, here, it's totally different. Like, I live in New York, and yes, there's pretty girls in New York too, but if I think about 7 days go by, and maybe I see maybe 1 or 2 girls that I might say like, wow, you know, she's a solid 10. Here, you can't even compare. You could literally walk down like any block, and as you're walking down any of these blocks, you're gonna see a beautiful girl. I'm sitting down having lunch the other day. The waitress is beautiful. You know, the girls that are walking behind me, the ones that are sitting next to me. I mean, and I'm not just saying they're beautiful, but they're like solid 10s. Things aren't like that in New York. Not to mention, they're actually very nice. Like, people down here are so much nicer than New York people. People in New York have that New York attitude, I guess, I don't know. But down here, you could go talk to them, approach them. They'll give you the time of day. I feel like people down here are extremely nice. Anyway, enough with that. Let's go grab some lunch, and hopefully I have something nice to show you. That's true, nobody's gonna recognize us with the mask. I didn't even think about that. Okay guys, I got the mask on. You gotta follow the rules, but I told you guys I have another YouTuber that was flying in last night. Last night things got crazy, so I didn't end up pulling out the camera. But you guys know who this is. We got Will Motivation. He's got this. I was telling them about the Lambo. When I saw you at the races, and I saw the wrap, I was like, no, that's it. I gotta get like that wrap for the Charger. Yes. So this is the guy that was responsible for that.
You're now in my homeland. You know what I'm saying? I have to wear this because I might do something crazy.
So guys, also real quick, we're gonna go have a drink. So I'm gonna show you guys right now, Colombian version of Hooters. So let's go.
Gotta be careful. Okay, my name is la chema tan brava, esta vida es brava, y yo también soy bravo. Por eso lo que repica son los cueros, aquí lo que suena fuego, mueve la abuela el pescadero, hasta lo mueve el aduanero, norte al sur, lo vemos viendo.
Ya te acordaste, sí, me acuerdo.
Me dice, listo.
Sí, yo estoy.
¿Conoce mi nombre?
María José, más cerca.
Y yo sé lo que tenemos no es para huevo y esto divino. Por eso lo que hacemos quitar tu mano con ritmo letales. Ya no sabes lo que pasa.